Dogs don't just hear us, they understand actual words. Not just sit or stay, but real words like play, ball, even bye-bye. And science proves it. Today we're breaking down the 8 words your dog actually understands, proven by experts. The first 2 will shock you because they reveal just how much your pup is secretly decoding every time you speak. Most people assume play is just a mood, not a vocabulary word. But recent studies using dog soundboards, those buttons some owners train their pets to press, show that dogs actually link the sound of the word play to a mental concept of fun. Imagine this: a stranger walks into the room, presses the play button, and the dog runs to grab their tug toy. That's not guessing. That's comprehension. Dogs build this association because the word play consistently leads to positive, exciting experiences. Over time, it becomes loaded with dopamine anticipation, almost like the smell of popcorn in a movie theater. And here's the twist. Play doesn't just mean fetch or tug of war. In households where play also leads to hide and seek, wrestling on the floor, or even chase games, the dog generalizes it. To them, play becomes a universal code for shared joy, regardless of the activity. What's shocking is that this word remains sticky even in new contexts. Some dogs have been observed perking up at play, even when overhearing it in unrelated conversations, showing that their brain treats it as a distinct, emotionally charged concept. Emotionally, this tells us something profound. Your dog isn't just responding to tone, they're cataloging a library of human words tied to emotions. And for dogs, play is pure happiness in 2 syllables. Ask yourself this: when's the last time you said play just to see your dog's face light up, even if you weren't holding a toy? That reaction isn't random. It's proof of shared language, a tiny bridge across species. For your dog, play is more than a word. It's a promise of happiness. That's the magic of language between you and your best friend. Here's where it gets even wilder. Dogs don't just understand commands, they can actually grasp nouns. In one EEG study, researchers spoke the names of familiar toys to dogs and then showed either the correct toy or a mismatch. The dog's brains actually lit up differently when the wrong toy was presented, proving they had formed expectations about object names. That means when you say ball, your dog isn't just waiting for your tone or gestures. They are picturing the ball itself. This is huge because it reveals referential understanding, something once thought exclusive to humans, and real-world dog owner stories back this up. Border collies like Chaser famously learned over 1,000 toy names, but everyday dogs can learn a handful if owners are consistent. Here's what's emotional about it. Imagine your dog building a dictionary inside their mind. Not in words like ours, but in associations. Ball means fun, chase, victory. Rope means tug-of-war strength tests. Bear might mean comfort. Every toy name becomes a micro-story in their relationship with you. On forums, owners report their dogs distinguishing between ball and toy, running to fetch exactly the named object. That's not instinct. That's vocabulary. And here's a funny side effect. Some dogs start showing preferences. They'll bring the ball if they want excitement, but dig out bear if they crave comfort, literally using words to negotiate with you. This shifts the way we see communication with dogs. They're not just passive learners. They're curating their own emotional dictionary. Think about it. Does your dog have a toy you could name consistently and test? If so, you might be surprised to find that your pup is already bilingual, fluent in barks and in ball. Learning something new? Tap subscribe and keep going. Now let's explore a word that's packed with possibility: outside. For most dogs, outside isn't just a cue for a walk. It's a ticket to freedom, exploration, and a whole new world of smells and sounds. When you say outside, your dog isn't simply reacting. They're predicting what's about to happen. This word teaches them about transitions, moving from the comfort of home to the excitement of the outdoors. Studies have shown that even shelter dogs, who often crave freedom, respond to outside faster than to treat. For some, the promise of fresh air and open space is more rewarding than food. But the meaning of outside is deeply personal. For an anxious pup, it's relief. For a young, energetic dog, it's a carnival. For a senior companion, it's the comfort of routine. But here's the twist. The way you use the word outside shapes how your dog feels about it. If outside is only shouted in frustration, it can become a source of stress. But if you say it with calm, positive energy, and pair it with gentle walks or fun sniff breaks, it becomes a promise, a moment of trust. So, next time you reach for the leash and say, outside, remember, to your dog, that word is more than vocabulary. It's a key to joy, comfort, and connection. One word, 3 syllables, and a world of meaning. Say walk in almost any dog household, and you'll see chaos ears pricked, tails wagging, dogs spinning like furry tornadoes. But why does this word hold such unmatched power? Because it's not just about physical movement. It's about ritual, bonding, and emotional anticipation. Dogs thrive on patterns, and walk becomes shorthand for the most consistent highlight of their day. Brain scans confirm this. Anticipation itself triggers dopamine, meaning your dog feels joy the second the word is spoken, not just once the walk begins. But here's the twist most owners don't realize. Overusing or teasing with walk dilutes its power. If you say it casually in conversation, "We should walk later, Sibjar," and then don't follow through, your dog learns the word can't be trusted, and that erodes the magic. On the flip side, using walk sparingly but always with follow-through builds a sacred bond. It becomes a ritual word, almost like amen at the end of a prayer. Predictable, grounding, holy in its own way. And emotionally, walk represents freedom together. It's not just exercise, it's you and your dog exploring the world as a team. Ever notice how even old or sick dogs perk up when they hear walk? That's because it taps into one of the most ancient parts of their psyche, the urge to move alongside their pack. To a dog, walk is not a command, it's a celebration. If walk is the word that ignites joy, no is the word that sets boundaries, but not in the way most people think. No is probably the most overused word in dog households, but also the least understood. Many owners believe their dogs process no, like a child, as moral judgment. But science says otherwise. Dogs don't grasp right versus wrong, they grasp change versus continuation. No is an interruption word, not a morality word. Behaviorists stress that unless it's paired with redirection, no quickly becomes confusing background noise. Picture this. You say no when your dog jumps on the couch, but don't show them where to go instead. What they learn isn't that the couch is forbidden, only that your voice sometimes spikes unpredictably. Worse, if no is shouted harshly, it can erode trust. Yet, used properly, no can be a lifesaver. It works like a stop sign. Sharp, quick, halting dangerous behavior in its tracks. And here's the fascinating twist: tone transforms meaning. A cheerful no can wag tails. A sharp one halts motion. That proves dogs are weighing emotional tone even when they know the word. Want to make no effective? Use it sparingly, say it once, and then redirect with clarity. No, off. No, leave it. Over time, the word becomes useful, but not feared, firm, but not cruel. To your dog, no isn't punishment. It's a turning point. And handled with care, it becomes less about control and more about trust. Come seems like just another obedience cue, but it's one of the deepest trust tests you can ask of a dog. Think about it. When you say come, your dog is leaving whatever feels most rewarding at that moment. The smell of grass, the thrill of a squirrel chase, even socializing with other dogs, to return to you. That's not obedience. That's vulnerability. Studies by Dr. Patricia McConnell confirm that recall success depends less on training drills and more on emotional reinforcement. If come always leads to crate time or scolding, dogs hesitate. But if it leads to praise, affection, or fun, it becomes irresistible. What's fascinating is how dogs learn to weigh outcomes. For example, if come is followed by a treat 9 times out of 10, that 10th time, even without a treat, still works because the word itself has been charged with positivity. It becomes its own reward. Emotionally, come says, "You're safe with me." That's why trainers call it the lifeline command. It can literally save your dog's life when danger is near. But beyond safety, come builds a feedback loop of loyalty. You call, they return, you celebrate, and the cycle reinforces your bond. Ever notice how your dog runs harder and faster to come when your voice is high and playful? That's oxytocin in action, building love into obedience. So yes, come is a command, but really it's a love story told in one syllable. If you only knew the power of good, you'd use it far more often. Neuroscience has shown that dogs process praise words like good in the same brain regions humans process rewards. And sometimes the reaction is even stronger than to food. That means when you say good boy or good girl, you're lighting up their brain like a firework. But here's what most owners miss. The word doesn't have to be tied only to training or commands. It can, and should, be woven into everyday life. When your dog lays calmly by your side, say good. When they greet a guest politely, say good. When they choose patience instead of chaos, say good. Over time, this simple word becomes an anchor of reassurance, a sign that they're safe and accepted. And emotionally, good is one of the few words that taps into pack psychology. In the wild, wolves affirm each other with touch, posture, and signals of belonging. In human households, good takes that role. It's not just praise, it's affirmation of status and love. And here's the emotional kicker. In studies, shelter dogs responded more strongly to praise than to treats, as if human affirmation mattered more than food. That's proof that good isn't a throwaway syllable. It's one of the deepest bonds you can create. So if you want to strengthen your connection, don't just reserve it for obedience. Let good be the soundtrack of your dog's everyday life. You might think your dog doesn't understand goodbyes, but evidence says otherwise. Dogs are masters of routines, and bye-bye quickly becomes a departure cue that triggers emotional processing. Research into separation anxiety reveals that dogs show heightened cortisol when goodbyes lack ritual. But calmer reactions when words like bye-bye are paired with predictability. A toy, a chew, or music. That means bye-bye can either be a stress trigger or a coping strategy, depending on how you use it. And here's the emotional truth. When you say bye-bye and your dog whines or sulks, it's not manipulation. It's attachment anxiety. They've linked that sound to the absence of their pack leader, you. But handled with care, this word becomes reassurance. Use it consistently with a calm voice. Add a predictable comfort item, and your dog will eventually process it as they're leaving, but they'll return. In fact, some owners report their dogs actually relaxing when they hear bye-bye, almost as if they understand it's a promise. That flips the script. The word of separation becomes a word of trust. Emotionally, it's bittersweet, one syllable holding both loss and love. But it proves something profound. Dogs don't live in ignorance. They live in expectation, constantly watching for signals that their world will stay intact. And bye-bye is their window into your loyalty. From EEG scans to real-life soundboard experiments, science keeps proving it. Dogs don't just hear us, they understand us. Want to learn more about the hidden psychology behind your dog's quirks? Dive into our Dog Psychology Facts playlist and hit subscribe for weekly science light insights. Your pup's brain will thank you.